Everyone loves chrysanthemums, those cheerful fall blooms that show up on nearly every porch once September arrives. But let's be honest, mums are basically the pumpkin spice latte of autumn plants. Fun for a moment, then gone before you know it. If you've ever watched yours droop before Halloween, you know the frustration. So here's the good news. There are plenty of other fall plants that are tougher, longer lasting, and far more interesting. These options will keep your containers looking full, vibrant, and beautiful all the way into winter. In this video, we're exploring 7 essential fall container plants that outperform mums in almost every category. Richer texture, deeper color, and more personality. Whether your aesthetic leans cozy cottage, modern minimalism, or rustic farmhouse, these plants will make your porch stand out and have your neighbors wondering how your pots still look perfect while theirs are already fading. Let's jump in, and by the end, you might not want to buy mums ever again. 1. Ornamental kale and cabbage. The fall showstopper. We're starting with one of fall's most overlooked gems, ornamental kale and cabbage. These aren't your grocery store greens, they're bred purely for visual impact. Think bold, swirling rosettes in shades of deep violet, creamy white, jade green, and soft pink. They look like living sculptures, dramatic, colorful, and incredibly eye-catching. And the best part? As temperatures drop, they don't fade. They intensify. Cool nights trigger pigments that make their colors brighter and richer. Purples deepen, pinks sharpen, and greens develop a frosty glow. It's like the cold air repaints them each day. Meanwhile, mums collapse after the first real frost. But kale and cabbage thrive in it. They handle cold effortlessly, and a light frost actually improves their color. Many gardeners keep them looking gorgeous into December, even with snow resting on their frilled leaves. When planting, don't skimp on space. They do best in large, deep containers where their roots can settle in. A single plant can serve as the dramatic centerpiece of a pot, but they also pair beautifully with trailing plants like ivy or creeping jenny spilling over the sides. For mixed fall containers, place your cabbage or kale in the center as the main attraction, then surround it with lower plants. Silver dusty miller, pansies, or heuchera work perfectly. The blend of shapes and colors makes the arrangement look intentional and lush. Caring for them is simple. Keep the soil moist but not soggy, and make sure your container drains well. Too much water can cause root rot. A diluted liquid fertilizer every few weeks will keep the foliage strong and vivid. Bonus tip: remove any lower leaves that yellow over time to keep the plant neat and encourage fresh growth. When nearly everything else gives up to the cold, ornamental kale and cabbage stay bold, colorful, and sculptural. They're the definition of plants that shine when the weather gets rough. If you're tired of containers dying off before October ends, start here. These plants don't just make it through fall, they dominate it. 2. Heuchera coral bells. The texture queen. If mums deliver color, heuchera delivers texture, elegance, and four-season appeal. This plant is the quiet standout of container gardening. Not flashy at first glance, but mesmerizing the longer you look at it. Heuchera, or coral bells, is all about foliage. The leaves come in an astonishing range of colors: velvety black, lime green, copper, plum, silver with violet veins, and more. Each leaf looks like it's been finely detailed by hand, and together they create layers of richness that elevate any arrangement. Unlike many fall plants, heuchera doesn't rely on flowers to shine. Its leaves stay full and vibrant well into late fall, giving your containers that still alive and thriving look while other plants are fading fast. Its versatility is part of its charm. It prefers partial shade but can handle full sun in cooler weather. In containers, it fills space beautifully, hiding bare soil and creating that polished, professional appearance. When selecting varieties, think in terms of contrast. For drama, pair deep purples like obsidian with silvery dusty miller or lamb's ear. For brightness, combine lime-toned varieties like lime marmalade with dark pansies or purple cabbage. For a woodland feel, mix coppery cultivars with ferns and small ornamental grasses. Heuchera blends easily with other plants, but it's also striking on its own. One plant in a textured pot can look minimal, elegant, and refined. Care is simple. Keep the soil lightly moist and choose a potting mix with excellent drainage. Avoid overwatering. Too much moisture can cause the crown to rot. Let the top layer of soil dry slightly before watering again. Trim off any spent flower stalks or damaged leaves occasionally to maintain its shape. In cooler climates, the foliage often deepens in color during fall, adding even more seasonal interest. Many varieties are semi-evergreen, staying colorful throughout winter in mild regions. Come spring, refresh with new soil or companions, and it's ready to shine again. Heuchera proves that great color doesn't always come from blooms. With its endless variety and long-lasting foliage, it brings richness, layers, and refined beauty to any fall container. If mums are the loud, showy guests, heuchera is the effortlessly stylish one that leaves a lasting impression. 3. Pansies and violas, small blooms with major presence. If any flower proves that tiny doesn't mean insignificant, it's pansies and violas. These little charmers deliver an incredible amount of character in a small package, and they'll keep your containers bright and blooming long after most plants have given up. Think of them as the joyful faces of fall. Their soft, velvety petals often look as though an artist painted them by hand. Splashes, streaks, and gradients of color so perfect they seem unreal. You can find them in nearly every shade: rich purples, golden yellows, crisp whites, glowing oranges, soft blues, sometimes all mixed within a single plant. What really sets them apart, though, is their cold tolerance. Pansies and violas adore chilly weather and actually perform better when the temperatures drop. In many areas, they'll keep blooming through light frosts and right into early winter. While mums collapse at the first real cold snap, pansies are still out there, cheerful and colorful, even when there's a dusting of snow on the ground. To get that lush, full look, plant them densely in your containers, baskets, or window boxes. The more you add, the richer and more luxurious your display becomes. For a more polished, designer-style arrangement, tuck them around the base of taller plants like grasses, heuchera, or compact evergreens. They also pair beautifully with ornamental kale or cabbage. The contrast between their delicate blooms and the bolder foliage is stunning. Because they grow low and spread outward, they act as a living carpet, filling bare spots and tying your whole display together. Caring for them is easy. Keep the soil consistently moist but never waterlogged. They dislike soggy roots. Make a habit of pinching off spent blooms to encourage continuous flowering. Within just a few days, you'll see new buds ready to open. Here's a professional tip. Choose violas if you want maximum longevity. Their smaller flowers handle cold even better than pansies and tend to bloom longer and more consistently. In mild climates, you'll often get a second burst of blooms in early spring, giving you fresh color after winter fades. So while mums may steal attention briefly in October, pansies and violas are the true long-distance performers. Vibrant, dependable, and unbeatable for months of fall and winter beauty. 4. Ornamental grasses, the masters of movement and drama. If you want to transform an ordinary fall container into something truly show-stopping, add ornamental grasses. They bring something flowers simply can't provide: motion. As the breeze blows, their blades ripple, shimmer, and sway, giving your display life and rhythm. Their movement adds elegance and atmosphere, turning your pots into dynamic, living pieces of art. They catch sunlight beautifully, cast graceful shadows, and instantly give your arrangement the high-end, professionally designed feel. In any container garden, grasses act as the architectural elements. They provide height, structure, dimension, and contrast. And yet they remain among the easiest plants to care for. Some compact varieties that work perfectly in pots include purple fountain grass, deep burgundy foliage topped with soft, feathery plumes that glow at sunset. Japanese forest grass, hakunekloa, gently cascading leaves in shades of green and gold, perfect for shady spots. Blue fescue, a tidy mound of icy blue blades that pairs beautifully with cool-toned companions, like dusty miller or pansies. These grasses are incredibly flexible in design. Use them as a dramatic focal point in a large urn, or let them soften the edges of a smaller planter. They work with every fall aesthetic: rustic farmhouse, cozy cottage, minimalist modern, you name it. Another reason they're so beloved, their evolving color. You'll find varieties in warm gold, bold burgundy, silver blue, and everything in between. Many grasses even shift shades as temperatures cool, giving your container a dynamic look that changes throughout the season. And just when you think they've offered all they can, winter adds a final flourish. Their dried plumes and blades become sculptural after frost, catching morning light and sparkling like gold filigree. Even with snow on them, they remain beautiful, adding structure when other plants have died back. To plant, choose a generously sized pot that allows room for the roots to expand. Use well-draining soil and water regularly until the plant is established. After that, most varieties become quite drought-tolerant and require very little maintenance. In early spring, simply trim the plant down to a few inches above the soil to allow fresh growth to emerge. Ornamental grasses don't just occupy space, they shape it. They turn an ordinary planter into a centerpiece and transform a still corner into a lively, eye-catching scene. Paired with fall favorites like pansies, kale, or trailing ivy, they bring texture, motion, and harmony to every container they grace. 5. Heathers and heaths, the cold season champions. When most plants are shutting down for the year, heathers and heaths are just stepping into the spotlight. These compact, evergreen dynamos deliver bright color and fine texture right when your garden, and your entire street, is starting to slip into dull winter tones. They're low, dense shrubs covered in slender, needle-like leaves and clusters of tiny bell-shaped blooms that range from creamy white and soft pink to deep magenta and rich purple. In containers, they look light and airy, almost wispy, yet they're surprisingly resilient. These plants thrive in cold weather, shrug off frost, and keep their color well into winter, even when temperatures dip below freezing. But the real magic lies beyond the flowers. Heathers and heaths have foliage that transforms with the seasons. Depending on the variety, their leaves can shift from bright green to copper, gold, or fiery red as the weather cools. This means your fall containers aren't static. They evolve, becoming richer, deeper, and more vibrant each week. If you are after that natural woodland aesthetic, something that blends wild meadow charm with cozy autumn warmth, these plants are perfect. They pair effortlessly with ornamental grasses, miniature conifers, or even a trailing ivy cascading over the pot's edge. The combination of fine needles, soft plumes, and glossy vines creates layers of texture that look appealing from every angle. Plant them in acidic, well-draining soil and keep the moisture consistent without going overboard. They hate soggy roots but don't appreciate drying out completely either. Topping the soil with bark mulch helps maintain moisture and protects the roots as frost arrives. Pro tip: mix a few varieties with different bloom times. That way you'll enjoy waves of color from early fall all the way into early winter, and in milder climates, even longer. Place your container somewhere you can admire the details, near a front door, along a walkway, or beside a patio. Add small pumpkins, pine cones, or decorative branches for instant autumn charm with a rustic, storybook flourish. The best part? Even beneath a layer of snow, heathers and heaths hold their shape and their appeal. While other plants fade into winter, these little evergreens keep doing their job, adding color, texture, and beauty when you need it most. If you've ever dreamed of fall planters that still look alive in January, consider this your secret solution. 6. Sedum, the low-maintenance fall icon. If you want a plant that stays gorgeous with almost zero effort, sedum, also known as stonecrop, is the clear winner. It's the go-to plant for anyone who wants beautiful fall containers without constant watering or fussing. Sedum is a succulent, which means it stores water in its thick, fleshy leaves. This makes it exceptionally drought-tolerant and incredibly low maintenance. Skip a few waterings, it won't mind. Cold snaps? It barely notices. Wind and frost? This plant pushes through with ease. There are countless varieties to choose from, but for fall, Sedum Autumn Joy, Hylotelephium telephium, is the superstar. It produces tight clusters of star-shaped blooms that start out bubblegum pink and gradually darken into coppery red as temperatures cool. By late fall, those flower heads take on a deep, burnished tone, like nature's version of aged bronze. But sedum's appeal isn't only about its flowers. The plant's structure itself is a design element. Thick stems and rounded succulent leaves create a bold architectural shape that instantly grounds a container arrangement. Sedum acts as a visual anchor, calm, solid, and sculptural, balancing out more airy or trailing plants. Pair it with ornamental cabbage, heuchera, or dusty miller for a striking textural contrast. Or go for an earthy, natural look by surrounding it with small gourds, moss, pine cones, or driftwood. The mix of sturdy succulent leaves with softer foliage or airy blossoms creates that perfect modern rustic vibe. As fall progresses, the flower heads dry naturally. And here's the key: don't cut them off. In winter, those dried, blooms turn into stunning natural sculptures. They catch frost like tiny crystals and shimmer in morning light. Many professional landscapers intentionally leave sedum standing through winter because it brings shape and interest long after other plants fade. Sedum prefers full sun and well-drained soil. Too much fertilizer can actually cause it to flop, so keep feeding minimal. Once planted, it really only needs occasional watering, and even then, it's forgiving. Sedum is the plant that never looks stressed, never asks for much, and always delivers beauty. Dependable, stylish, and incredibly resilient, it turns fall containers into showpieces with almost no effort from you. If you want a fall display that feels polished, modern, and totally worry-free, sedum is the undisputed star. 7. Dwarf evergreens. The reliable, year-round anchor. If you've ever wished your fall containers could stay beautiful all winter long, and even greet the spring looking just as fresh, dwarf evergreens are the answer you've been searching for. These compact, cold-loving shrubs provide constant structure, color, and life to your porch, patio, or front entry. While mums and other seasonal favorites fade away by late fall, evergreens keep their shape, stay full, and remain vibrant through frost, snow, and winter winds. If there's a plant that truly symbolizes dependable beauty, this is it. Varieties like dwarf Alberta spruce, compact boxwood, juniper, and miniature arborvitae have earned their reputation for a reason. They come in an array of shapes, textures, and greens, from deep woodland tones to striking silvery blues. Some grow like neat little cones, others form soft, rounded mounds, and a few drape gently over the edges of containers. One of the biggest perks of dwarf evergreens is how effortlessly they fit into any style. In a sleek black or white pot, they look polished and modern. In terracotta or rustic wooden barrels, they take on a cozy, cottage-like charm. Whatever the aesthetic, they instantly elevate it. But their real beauty shows in how they adapt with the seasons. Think of them as living sculptures, the steady grounding element of your design. In autumn, you can surround them with ornamental kale, heuchera, or pansies for color and texture. When winter arrives, add pine cones, a string of soft lights, or branches with red berries for a festive feel. Come spring, swap those accents for tulips, petunias, or daffodils. The evergreen stays right where it is, anchoring the entire arrangement. They're also wonderfully low maintenance. Once they're established, they require very little watering. Just be sure the soil drains well, as evergreens dislike sitting in wet, heavy soil. A light trim in early spring will keep their form neat, dense, and healthy. Here's a professional design tip. Follow the classic thriller, filler, spiller formula. Let the evergreen be your thriller, the strong, eye-catching centerpiece. Around its base, add fillers like heuchera or ornamental cabbage. Then finish with spillers such as ivy or creeping jenny to soften the edges. It creates a full, layered look that feels balanced and intentionally designed. And perhaps the best thing about dwarf evergreens? They stay evergreen. Literally. They remain green and alive all year long, even when everything else has turned brown or disappeared. That means you'll never have to deal with the sad, empty container look so common in midwinter. So if you're tired of replanting every few months, or you simply want something that looks stylish and welcoming through every season, dwarf evergreens are the ultimate foundation. They're the steady heartbeat of a truly four-season container. Classic, resilient, and effortlessly beautiful. With one of these in your fall arrangement, your porch will stay vibrant and polished long after the rest of the neighborhood's displays have faded.